Hi, so this is our official first episode as Migrantics. I am Mitchelle.
I'm Shalom. If you are a migrant, this is just relatable content of what we all go through.
This is the podcast for you. Do I regret doing international business? And you're stuck in the country with no friends, no family, no support.
Honestly, I don't regret it. I did like it.
They don't treat people well. That is the worst case scenario. If the police have to get involved, there must have been like some violence. Shalom, hurry up. Coming. Hi, so this is our official first episode as Migrantics. I am Mitchelle.
I'm Shalom.
And we are so excited to kind of do this. We saw an opportunity in the space to help anybody like us. So if you've been from like your home country, moving to a new country, trying to figure out what to do, how to make friends, how to build connections, tips and tricks, how to do taxes, accommodation, all of that, then this is the podcast for you. And we are so excited to really build a community, find other people in different places in the world, and, just share our experiences and knowledge.
Yeah, so if you are a migrant looking to go to a new country or you're already in a new country, and this is just relatable content of what we all go through. So hope you enjoy and build this family with us.
So we were actually debating on how to do this first episode, what to talk about, and we thought, why not actually just talk about our story, how we came to Australia. That is the country where we now call home. Kind of just take you on our journey, see if anything resonates, answer any questions people would eventually have in terms of how to get to Australia, how to get to America, UK, wherever possible. We'll take it from there. So, Shalom, how did you come to Australia?
Oh, how did I come? Well, I came by plane. I came in 2019, July. I'm from Zimbabwe, so is Michelle. If you couldn't tell, we're sisters. And I came in July 2019 for uni.
In terms of my story, I came to Sydney about 7 years ago. So that would be in 2016. So pretty much, I was trying to debate where to go to. So there were so many options, but the typical options are the UK, America, pretty much. Those are the typical options for Zimbabweans. Oh, and South Africa. But South Africa, I was just like, hell no, I'm not going to South Africa. It's too close to home. The UK, I visited the UK when I was around 16. I did the whole uni kind of trips type of thing. So I went to Oxford University and saw what that was like. And while I was there and I was talking to like the administration team, and they were asking me all these questions, I literally was just like, I do not want to come to the UK. The weather's terrible. It just didn't feel like a place for me. So I was kind of lost from like 16 on where to go to. Then I remember my dad, he pretty much gave me a list of like jobs. And he was like, oh, this is the list of skilled jobs in Australia. Are you interested? And obviously at that time I was like 17-ish, 18-ish. I was just like, I don't care what you say. I'm not going to listen to you. I really don't care. I want to go to wherever I want to go to, not do your plan. So I kind of put Australia on the back hold because of that. Then where I wanted to go was actually Switzerland. I started talking with a few like high school teachers I was close to, and we're trying to figure out what's the best pathway for me to go to like Switzerland. And they started asking me like, oh, do you like the weather there? I was just like, the weather in Switzerland? Hell no, I've never seen snow in my life. So I was just like, I've been to England and it was cold and it wasn't even snowing. Am I gonna like Switzerland? And I was like, no. We ended up coming with this whole list of like best weather. It was such a random list. Best weather, what I want to study, which was like international business because I wanted to travel a lot. And then Australia showed up and 3 universities, 2 main universities, Sydney University and Melbourne University, kind of like were the first forefront. But then when I applied to a uni, got a big scholarship, and pretty much that's kind of how I ended up in Australia. Ever since then, I kind of just stayed. Yeah, that's my story. What's yours?
I didn't know that you wanted to go to Switzerland. That is news to me. I think mine wasn't a choice, really. Well, it was a choice, but wasn't a choice just because Michelle was already in Australia and already in Sydney. And when I was finishing high school, I was like, oh, I do not want to go to Australia. I want to be my own person. So I was looking literally anywhere else. So a major option was like Canada, was like the UK. The US was not as much as an option because I didn't want to go there for many other reasons. Didn't think about Australia, so I applied to all those unis. Then at the end, my parents were like, oh, it would be really good if you're like both in the same place. It's like a country where you don't know anyone. So then I was like, yeah, I'll do Australia, but I'll do Melbourne. So I applied to some Melbourne unis, and then like very last minute applied to the uni that Michelle was going to in Sydney, and I ended up there. But honestly, I don't regret it. I did like it. That's kind of like my story. It wasn't much of a choice of what I wanted to do, and the uni where we went to, Macquarie offered kind of the degree I wanted to do, which is like a double degree, and it was the one uni that put the degrees together, which is like accounting and finance. That made the decision so much easier.
My mom pretty much forced me to try and force Shalom to come to Sydney instead of Melbourne. She was like, oh my gosh, you girls, you are sisters, you should stick together wherever you are and whatnot, whatnot. And I was like, fine. Anyway, it was your choice at the end of the day, because I wouldn't have cared if you decided to go to like any other university. So I'd be like, cool, that's... I studied international business, like a major in international business and a minor in finance. In Australia, it's really cool that the degrees are like 3 years. If you are doing it full time, that is. Do I regret doing international business? A little bit, but not really. My degree allowed me to travel, so I've been to India, Singapore. That was like the two main places I traveled. Did a lot of exciting things during uni as well. And that kind of shaped up my life and what I'm doing kind of now.
I did accounting and finance. I think the decision was mostly based on I didn't really know what to do. So I was good at math, and I was like, oh, what degrees use math and kind of like make sense? And it was like accounting and finance.
Wait, so did you know what you wanted to study before?
No, I didn't know what I wanted to study. That was based on what made the most sense. I just felt like so context in around 10th grade, before 10th grade, I wanted to study medicine, and then I did chemistry and it wasn't for me. So I changed to do business units. I don't think I knew that I wanted to do accounting. I just ended up there and it made sense.
Wait, so like right after high school, you just said accounting, or was it more because they offered? Because I know like first year uni, you're doing like every single subject that they give you, so you have no choice. That matter?
No, so that's why I chose both like finance and accounting, because mine was actually 4 years because it was double degree. So I did an extra year instead of 3, and I think that decision was like to give me the best option, like the best two to choose which one I would like. I almost changed, which is pretty cool about Australian unis. You can change your degree at some point. Almost changed to economics. Good decision I didn't. But yeah, I don't think I knew what I wanted to do. I just chose what made the most sense with what I was good with.
Yeah, and I think I don't know about a lot of people. I've never met anybody who says right after high school, I know exactly what I want to do with my life. I know exactly what I want to study. And because I'm the perfect example for that. Like literally 3-4 months before I graduated, I was really like nervous because I didn't know what I wanted to study. So kind of like Shalom, like when I was like 16, 15, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to study English literature because I wanted to do like writing and whatnot. Obviously, us degrees don't, pay the pay the bills. Maybe they do, but anyway. So when I was like 17, 18, I really didn't know like what I wanted to kind of do, what I wanted to study, and I knew I was good in like commerce and business studies type of stuff. So it was kind of like a thing because my mom wanted me to do like engineering. My dad wanted me to do what's the thing they're called? The health stuff.
Public health.
Yeah, he wanted me to do like public health and stuff. Because it was just like, oh yeah, you can just go into the United Nations and work there because he works in the United Nations, and I was just like, I really don't want to do any of that. I don't care about public health like that. Engineering, I don't know what gave my mom the idea. Just because I fixed TVs at home, she just thought, oh yeah, just do engineering, and she wanted me to go to Italy. So nowhere, like nobody was thinking of Australia, to be honest. So I ended up just choosing international business based on my interests, which is mainly cultures and business. So just like, oh yeah, international business, I study businesses. And the type of degree that I wanted, it wasn't offered at the time by many universities. It would allow me to travel. So Macquarie was actually one of the only universities I knew personally that allowed me to do like business studies, international business, and actually travel at the same time. And I was just like, it's a no-brainer. But I actually did think about switching my. It's funny. It's like after like during my first year, because they make you study all those subjects. If you're in a commerce degree, they make you study like mandatory subjects in like your first year. So you do your accounting, you do economics, you do marketing, and what else do you do?
Yeah, just like the basics of business.
Finance.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do finance as well. So I did all of those, and I was kind of like, after that, I was kind of confused. I was like, oh, should I just stick with my international business degree, or should I switch to marketing? Because I actually enjoyed marketing, and then I was like, oh, should I do accounting? Because I also kind of enjoyed that. For during my first year, I was like, oh yeah, I really want to do accounting as well. But I ended up deciding to stick with my international business degree and to do a finance minor. And I kind of regret that because I was really stuck between marketing and international business, or marketing and finance as well. Because it's like, I really like marketing and all of that, but I'm not choosing it. I should just stick to what I know. It's going to be a hassle to like, I thought it was going to be like a hassle to change degrees and whatnot, or I would regret it, or like I shouldn't be confused. I should know exactly what I want to do, like from the jump when I get into uni. Looking back, I'm just like, I would have switched. I would have like been like, it doesn't matter, just switch if you want to switch, before it's too late. Because by third year it's too late because you're already graduating. By second year, it's kind of too late as well, unless somehow the degrees are related. Then you can get those extra credits and stuff that will go into your next degree. But if they're not related, it's too late. So it's like first year is the perfect opportunity to switch degrees if you want to switch. I just finished my master's. So now my master's was in marketing. So it's like, oh, so undergrad international business, master's in marketing, instead of doing marketing in my undergrad. But I kind of don't regret it because I did learn a lot about business. I ended up starting my own business, and then yeah, it was interesting. Now I work in marketing, which is pretty cool as well. And finance, my business was in finance, so I kind of used my degrees to some extent. But then you know how like whatever you learn on paper is not exactly what you face in reality. That's the thing.
That's true. I think mine was kind of different because I like the basics they had, like doing finance, accounting, econ, management, and marketing, kind of like in your first year, which makes it easier if you want to switch. But I think I almost actually dropped accounting to do finance and economics because my first year economics was like more interesting, a little easier. But I stick with accounting and then realized I still had to do econ subjects, and those were not the best for the rest of my degree. So yeah, it's always a little bit different finding like what you enjoy the most and what degree to do. I was doing my IELTS exam, so this like English exam you have to do to come to Australia or to change your visa, and that's the question they asked me in my speaking exam. They were like, what do you think about like choosing subjects? What would you say as advice to high school students who before they go to college? And that's basically what I told them, that you can decide to choose while at uni, but maybe if you don't know, taking like a few gap months or a gap year might be a good option.
I graduated in like high school in March, then literally went to do my degree in July, so it was just like a few months. But then even in those few months, I was working because I started working for a bank because I was really interested in like finance and stuff as well. So for me, I'm just like, that was my equivalent of a gap year or 3 months of free time from high school. I don't regret it, but what I really like is like, if you personally, I think like after you do your undergrad, if you're thinking of doing a master's, you should definitely take a gap year to work and just understand what like the work environment is like. Because I promise you, like when you start doing your masters, and you know and you've worked and you kind of have an idea of what you want to do, it will literally be the difference. Like literally be the difference. Like undergrad, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I didn't really care about like studying that much. As long as I passed, I was cool with that, and as long as I could get a job, I was cool with that. But in my masters, I was like very like I really want to make the most out of every single thing. But then it was so frustrating. It was so frustrating because I had like so many groups with people who just jumped from undergrad to masters, and people's mentality, we could be the same age, but our mentalities would be different. Because I started my own company. I was just like, I'm on the ball. I want to do X, Y, Z, schedule everything. When's our next meeting? Who's following up? etc. I was very like on point organization, type A type of person. And then the people were just still kind of like nervous, don't know how to do things, don't really understand certain concepts or aspect of time management. And I was just like, wow, this is like a waste of time in a sense. But then I get it, especially coming to Australia. One of the main challenges is actually staying in Australia, getting permanent residency or citizenship. So I understand like for some people the only way to stay is to study again. So some people be like, I just finished my undergrad, I'm going to do my master's so I can stay in Australia longer while I try and figure out how to get a job and whatnot. Which brings me to like the most painful thing about Australia is just staying, honestly. Like the one thing I wish I knew before coming here was the job market, how hard that would be, and not just the job market, the government, and like how they are receptive to like to like literally international people, migrants, and how they can stay and whatnot. And if you're studying arts or anything that's not finance related or nursing or social work, it's easier now because they changed the government. Thank the Lord for that. But back when I started in 2016, it was so hard. Like I literally did not know how I was going to stay. Like literally up to last year September, I did not know I was going to stay in Australia. And yeah, and now because, COVID happened, a lot of people left as well. It's kind of like the government needs people. So I'm just in the right place at the right time right now.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know if it was just us being unprepared for, like, I didn't look at like the lists of what the government needed before I studied what I studied. I was basing that decision off what I enjoy doing, which is good, but it's worth a look to see what's the plan after that. Good thing the degree I chose was kind of always a bit more settled.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're studying accounting, you're fine. You get a job. Like you get your permanent residence, you get a citizenship. You are actually fine.
Yeah.
You know, if you're studying anything besides that, good luck. Literally, good luck. And I think that's like the challenges of like living in the first world, not just Australia, is like the struggle of actually making like the country you've chosen your home. It is really hard, especially if you have this mentality that hey, I could get kicked out anytime. I really can't find a job because nobody's hiring. Because the thing with Australia, it could be the same in America. If anybody has experience in America, let me know, or the UK or wherever, is that they want you to spend your money. So you're paying thousands and thousands of dollars at uni, but after you finish, they want you out. And then to apply for jobs, many of those employers are just looking for people with citizenship or permanent residency, because as international students, we only get a certain amount of hours to work. So back in the day, it was like 20 hours per week, so 40 hours per fortnight type of thing, which is really really ridiculous, because that's literally if you're working 8 hours in a day, so that's 8 hours, that's 2 days and 4 hours of working, and no company is going to accept you for 2 days and 4 hours of working unless you're probably in like retail or casual jobs, or like working for McDonald's, KFC, or whatnot, which for a lot of us, well, for me at least, I'm just like, I do not want to work in fast food. They don't treat people well. I don't want to work in retail. They also don't treat people well, like customers just in general. So something I'm experienced with, and I'm an introvert, so I'm like, I don't want to be in any customer facing role like that, even though it's a good experience overall and whatnot. But just imagine the government puts limits on your working hours. Obviously, that's to like help you make sure you study and pass. But then it's kind of like they're also expecting you to pay so much. You're also paying, if you're in a position where your parents are not providing for you, you're also paying for like rent, utilities, groceries, and I can tell you Australia is one of the most expensive places in the world. So that is really hard, because I've heard a lot of people like complaining, crying, or people actually going back to their home countries because it's just really hard to stay. So that's something to be really mindful of. It was definitely like a huge challenge for me in like right after I graduated for uni, like in 2019, like just staying. It was so hard because from 2016 to about 2019, I really didn't have like a consistent job, because I was getting rejected left, right, and center. Like sometimes I'd open my inbox, and from like the top to the bottom, it was all just rejection letters from all the jobs I'd applied to. And I'll say I probably applied to over 100 jobs in the 3 years I was studying, and I probably got only accepted into like 1.5. Half was a casual job that I was doing at an ice skating ring, and then I got laid off 2 days later because they overhired people. And then the other one was like a social media writer kind of position, and that was for a few months, and then they just kind of quite like let me go as well. So that was really nothing, but it was pretty hard. I don't really regret it, because then that forced me to be in a position to do something by myself. And now I'm kind of just in a good position with the current work that I do.
Yeah, I think for me, it's a bit of a different story. I came in 2019, and at that time, that's when it was really hard to like find a job. And then COVID hit just like 8 months later. So everything's in lockdown. No one's really working that much. I tried to find like some uni jobs that I could do online. So it became like not a lot of people know this, but I became like a note taker for some of my classes. And then after COVID, there was like that kind of hit in the market where there wasn't enough employees onshore to work casual jobs or retail jobs, or basically any type of job really. So the market became a little more easier to get jobs. I will say that I worked retail and I worked kind of food and service, and it's not that bad, but I get it. Finding jobs in there, the job market is really hard, just because they'll probably prioritize because you can work from here since you're 18, so they'll probably prioritize giving those jobs to like teenagers when they're out of school. So it is a bit harder. Yeah, maybe like we'll do that sometime, like go over and do like a podcast or a series on finding jobs in Australia. Yeah, definitely there are tips and tricks to it, but it's just a consistent effort to try and get like that one hit. And once you have that, because Australia is big on experience, like they expect you to have so much experience. And like where we're from, not a lot of people work while they do high school. So when you come, you basically have no experience. But even like joining clubs at high school, if they're there or anything, will really help when you come here because like experience is really a big thing.
Yeah, I definitely say volunteer, do anything to just get experience in what you're interested in. If you need to work for free, just do that for a few months, whatever. Because that's pretty much what people just look at nowadays is like experience. Do you know exactly what you need to do for this job? If you don't know, are you able to quickly learn so that it's not a hindrance to your employer? Yeah, I definitely will go because I did a little bit of hiring for people and whatnot, so I kind of understand now what I did not know as as somebody who was like an employee and whatnot. But yeah, I'm just gonna do a new segment. It's gonna be like those "Am I the asshole" stories and whatnot. We're gonna do something similar, but we're only gonna be focusing on migrants. And people looking to do overseas. And I saw a couple of very interesting stories. I'm not going to do the juiciest one for the first episode. Maybe I should do the juiciest one for the first episode. Yeah, so this person was pretty much just saying they just wanted to let this out of their chest, and it's also kind of like a cry for help. So pretty much they're just saying, for as long as I've lived, I have been sheltered and raised by a single parent who is quite frankly overprotective and controlling of me. A few years back, I met a friend that I hit it off with and have been in a long distance relationship with them for over a year to this date. We have planned for me to fly overseas and live with him where I could end up working with him in the same company, which is a small group of friends. I've done research for a long time and had booked my tickets. This had to be outside of my parents' knowledge, purview, else I would have been stopped immediately. However, said parent found out about those plans and confiscated my phone, passport, and cancelled my flight. The after effects have been incredibly strange to the point of nearly losing my partner thanks to said parent's effort. Police decided to compromise, which effectively leaves me with my passport in their possession and my parent continuing to control me. I went through a traumatic childhood, which influences my parents' wish to keep me safe, and additionally suffered from an intellectual disability that no longer affects my ability to function in day-to-day life. The main issue is that my parents leverages both of this against me, saying that I am mentally 15 years old when I can both be certain I am not, and there's no examination done on me to prove or support this. To summarize, this person fell in love with this person who is in another country and they have a controlling parent or whatnot. And now this person's like, you know what? I want to go live with my partner in that country. I want to get a job as well, and I've already purchased the tickets, but I can't tell my parent because they would stop me at all costs. Anyway, parent found out, confiscated phone, passport, and canceled the flight. Somewhere down the line, police got involved. Police took the person's passport, and the parent is still controlling their life.
I feel like this one's hard because I was with you before the edit, before knowing any past history, of which I think that you're a grown person who can do as they wish. But I think it was the initial hiding of stuff and not even discussing it before. Maybe you knew that your parents would react in this sort of way already. But yeah, parents are just always trying to protect you. But to what extent does it become, like in this situation, kind of controlling? Yeah.
So they're over 21 years old. They live in Ocean. What's it?
Oceania.
I don't know how to pronounce that. Yeah, they live around Australia, New Zealand, this kind of region. So somebody was worried that they were young, they're going to get trafficked if they do this, etc. But then they're over 21 years old. They're pretty much an adult. They don't. They say they don't have an intellectual disability anymore, and whatnot. You know what? This is a difficult one. I kind of understand because, strict parents raise the most interesting children. I feel like anybody who's ever had strict parents can kind of relate to hiding certain things because, they don't want to be controlled over. I just think that if you've never met your partner that you want to live with in a different country, I just don't think that's a good idea, personally. Like, it's really not. I've seen catfish. We've all seen catfish. We've all seen situations where, like, people aren't really as truthful. And honestly, I just don't think it's a good idea to be going somewhere because of a person.
Wait, they hadn't met it before in person?
Yeah.
Or was it an old friend, just like online?
So it's an old friend online, but in the comments they said that they've never met.
Yeah, you know where the danger is. But yeah, no. There is a danger there. There is certainly a danger of being catfished. And whatever happened, like trafficking is a real scare as well. So I get the parents in that angle. I would like to know though, have they ever video chatted?
I don't know. I mean, they don't say that, but
Yeah.
I just think because we can talk about the parent and then how controlling they be. If the police have to get involved, there must have been some violence at some point, because I think they talked about assault and whatnot, which is a serious case. Because I generally think if you are an adult, you're an adult, whatever it's kind of different for us because we come from a cultural heritage where it's like, until you're married, you're still a kid, essentially, to some extent, But I can understand, if you're over 21, you want to travel, you want to go places, you should be able to do that. It's just the reasons for them doing this. I understand that they're going to move to a new country. They're going to find a job. They didn't even have a job. They say they're going to find a job. It's not even lined up. So there's no guarantee. When you move countries, literally there's nothing guaranteed unless there's a written offer. There's actually something on paper. So, for example, if I wanted to move to, let's just say, America, my first thing is securing a job first before anything else. So I would have applied for jobs. And once I secured, I could be like, cool, I'm now moving to America, and making sure that everything is okay and whatnot. I definitely would not be moving with anybody I've never physically met in my life. And I'll move by myself at least, make sure I'm settled. Because what you don't want to be is be in a position where it's like you're in a country, things don't work out with the person, with your partner, or whatever, and you're stuck in the country with no friends, no family, no support. That is the worst case scenario right there. So I can understand why it's a cry for help, but there's just going to be it's a hard one. It's honestly a hard one because I understand from the parent, you need to be kind of smart about things like this, but I also get the whole, you can't control an adult if they're an adult.
Yeah, and it's that excuse the parents are using about mental disabilities, or which she just said was not even diagnosed as having the mental ability of a 15-year-old. So definitely just being honest about what they're actually really scared of. Yeah, it'll go from there. But this is a very tricky situation.
Yeah, and you can just meet your partner halfway before like making sure that your parent is comfortable with your relationship. They could travel to you if they're more comfortable doing that, or you guys can meet halfway, get to know them a little bit better before making like that big decision of actually just like taking the leap. So that's pretty much kind of it in terms of this ones. There are actually a few juicy ones. I wanted to start off with the soft one. I don't read every story because I want to have like first thoughts when I do this. But yeah, I think the end of this first segment, just introducing to who we are, what we're about. We showed you a little bit of how we got to where we are, our uni experiences, our highlights, a little bit of challenges in Australia. And moving forward, let us know what you want to hear from us. As well, if you like this on whatever platform, leave a like, leave a review, subscribe because we are here to stay, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye.
Peace, deuces.